Hi, I'm John McAuliffe, Chief Marketing Officer of VFM Leonardo, and welcome to VTV. VTV has been produced for hotel e-commerce, marketing, and sales professionals to provide insights, knowledge, and learning from industry experts on how to extract more value from a hotel's presence on the internet. Each week, I will interview an industry expert on a single topic. We have discovered many of these topics from industry people like yourself and encourage you to let us know if there is a topic you would like us to cover on VTV. You can email us at vtv@vfmleonardo.com and make your suggestions anytime. Welcome to today's episode. Our topic today is the integration of revenue management and marketing, and I am joined by Laurence Bernstein. Laurence is the managing partner of the Bay Charles Consulting Company. He has been a leading proponent of the new order of differentiation and has written and lectured on the subject of experiential branding and intrinsic-extrinsic research methodologies in Canada, the US, and China. Laurence is a graduate of Cornell University and is a member of the Cornell University Trustee Council and the Cornell Arts Committee. He has worked with major hotel brands and advertising agencies on projects designed for growth by understanding and delivering meaningful experiences. He is a prolific blogger on various subjects, including a number of articles on understanding and amplifying guest experiences in hotels. Laurence, thank you for joining us on VTV and welcome.
Thank you. Welcome, and it's great to be here, John.
Our topic today, Laurence, is the integration of revenue management and marketing. I know that you recently were involved in a Cornell University roundtable discussing this very topic of the integration of revenue management and marketing. So what I'd like to hear from you today is, what is it that each of these distinct functions at the hotel brand level can learn from each other in order to make a positive impact on bookings at the hotel property level?
John, it's an interesting subject, one that really, in a weird kind of way, goes back to the history of hotels. Because if you think about fundamentals of marketing, with the 4 Ps, which are product, promotion, price, and place, which we could refer to as distribution as well. The place being where you actually purchase the product. What we find is that the 4 Ps are now divided into 2 separate sections. Marketing actually has control over 2 of them, or reasonable control over one of them, and little control over one of them, but is out of the picture on 2 of the most important, which have to do with price and place. Revenue management are responsible really for maximizing the revenue for each room and in maximizing the average rates and occupancy. It seems a bit strange that this activity is not conducted within the umbrella of marketing, because if the 2 of them work together, there would be a kind of integration between the ultimate price that consumers are paying, which they pay online, and which is dependent on a whole lot of input from revenue management, and the way in which the property is brought to market by the marketing department in terms of promotion, publicity, and positioning. So it doesn't make a lot of sense the way it is now, and there's certainly a lot of room for synergy if the 2 would be working closer together.
So when you were at this roundtable, what types of things were people talking about in order to be able to integrate the 2 of these distinct functions?
The problem is that the 2 departments are not really, or don't really see themselves as being part of the same unity, as it were. Historically, reservations, which is the predecessor, let's face facts, to both revenue management and online content distribution and all of that aspect, was always separate and always reported into the rooms division of the hotel or into some kind of operational function. We now see in some hotels that this function reports into sales, but what we're not seeing is that the 2 things are being carried out together. The net result of this is the absurdity that we see happening in terms of online booking. For instance, if you had wanted to buy a room in Toronto for tonight, you would probably have found that the same room could be bought from the same hotel for about 3 different prices, depending on who you called or where you went online. So you would get a different price for 2 out of the 3 hotels that I checked today, from the hotel versus from the online versus from an online travel agent. This is the kind of thing that ultimately has led to the devaluation of hotel brands and people's complete inability or unwillingness to give any kind of credibility to hotel pricing. And the result of that is that people see hotel pricing as being completely arbitrary and are willing to take advantage or insist on taking advantage of price offers rather than focus on some of the more important aspects of the hotels or the place in which they choose to stay. So what we're doing is giving up a hell of a lot of margin in order to retain a kind of structure that didn't make sense in the beginning. My sense is that if the marketing department or the marketing exercise were to include all aspects of the 4 Ps, there would be more cohesion and more strategic use of pricing that would ultimately lead to higher margins and higher room rates.
Laurence, it's interesting. One of the things that I heard you say in that is because of this inconsistency in pricing that is found out there, the hotel industry has forced the consumer, particularly online, to focus on price versus those other elements of the hotel experience that may in fact drive up the value of the hotel room. So if I was an individual hotel property, what can I do in order to communicate the higher value that someone's getting at my hotel, regardless of the inconsistencies that they're going to see on the pricing of the room?
John, that's a good question. I honestly think, and this is my opinion, I think that those inconsistencies and the confusion that people are experiencing at the level of the price is a barrier to people actually going to the kind of next more important stage of their determination, their judgment of where they're going to stay. The answer to that, I would assume, or I would guess, is to try to make some kind of massively powerful case as to why your hotel is the one that people would want to stay in, or make people want to stay in what we refer to as the inspiration point on the customer path to purchase. But bear in mind that if having inspired somebody to want to stay in your hotel, that you still give them, confuse them when you get to the prices, to the cost of those rooms, that you're very likely to lose them. Because once they're at that tactical level, and you've alienated them or confused them at the tactical level, they really will reopen the whole discussion in their minds. I'll give you an example. Again, it has to do with booking rooms here. And this week, we tested 3 hotels, 2 in a chain and 1 in a very small chain. And we booked rooms for Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday nights. We got one sort of per night rate from everybody that would cover all 4 nights. In 2 out of the 3 cases, this is for real, in 2 out of 3 cases, when we then asked, well, if we booked it for the Wednesday and Thursday nights, what would it be? We were given a lower per night rate than if we booked the 4 nights, which I guess is reasonable. But we then asked, what would it be if we just booked the Friday and Saturday? And again, we were given a lower rate than if we had booked the 4 nights. Remember, we're talking about 2 out of 3 hotels, and they're different chains. So pointing out to the reservations people that we would be better off by not by a little bit, by a matter of $20 or $30 a night, to book the hotel in 2 bookings, one for Wednesday and Thursday and one for Friday and Saturday. And in both cases, the reservationist just sort of sighed and said, yes, they hadn't really noticed that. At that point in time, I am convinced that any inspiration that you've managed to convey to that particular potential guest has gone away, and you're right down and living in a very tactical, rational world where you're not going to win, because there's always going to be somebody who is going to be cheaper than you are.
Laurence, very insightful once again. Thank you for joining us on VTV and sharing your knowledge and experience with us.
Glad to be here.
To all the viewers out there, be sure to visit vtv.vfmleonardo.com and post your comments. Tune in next week for more from another industry expert.